Residents of Othongathi are up in arms, demanding that water supply must be restored in their area. eThekwini Mayor Mxolisi Kaunda said residents can only expect water by the end of October. That is when the reconstruction of the Othongathi water plant will be completed. For this and more, I am joined by a resident who is Chantal Naidu. Chantal, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. You are based in Sandsfield, and this is one of the worst affected areas. Just take us through some of the challenges that you experience on a daily.
Okay, so we live in Sandfields in Tongaat. Our community is really small, but we had 54 houses that was affected by the flood in this area alone. Most of the challenges that we have is that from the day of the flood, the water connections was lost, and we were not able to get any water in for a few days. Tankers have been allocated to our homes, but people have to wait through like from 8 a.m. in the morning till about 10 p.m. at night. We don't know what time the tankers are coming. Sometimes we get a tanker in the area, and by the time it does a road or two, the tanker is empty. And then by the time they go up to fill, it's like another 2 hours or so before they come back. Some residents who are able to fetch their own water. We have a water station here at Walter Reed Road, but unless you have a vehicle, a bakkie with a flow bin, it is absolutely impossible for you to go and get water. People are standing outside with 5-liter containers. The prices of buckets and drums and things have escalated, and we have a lot of elderly and unemployed people in our community. So the efforts that we are trying to put in is really, really challenging, especially when we have Jojo tanks in our areas that has been sponsored, but there's no tanks to fill. We rely on private donations, private sponsors to come up and fill these Jojo tanks when the municipality tankers are not available or are busy. So it's really, really, really challenging here. It's been many months now without water, and we are waiting for positive feedback, because the last we heard, a tender had been awarded for the waterworks to start being repaired, and ever since then there's been nothing. So people are just sitting at home trying to see what they can do, how can they get water. I think the main challenge right now is that we don't have drinking water, so people have to now pay out of their pockets to get water. We were getting donations and sponsors coming through in the weeks after the flood, but that has all now ceased. So drinking water is something that we don't have in this community.
It's quite a scarcity. If I may come in there, Chantal, because we are running out of time. The eThekwini Deputy Mayor, Philani Mavundla, expressed earlier this week that it's unjustified that the people of Tongaat have taken to the streets to protest over water, saying that as a province they've reacted timelessly to this natural disaster. And he says, and he believes that more could not have been done in this short space of time, and also reiterating that the MEC of Kokta, Sihle Zikalala, had deployed more tankers, but the tankers that were available in some parts of Tongaat were destroyed by residents themselves. What's your response to that?
One of the worst areas that had the protesting this past week was Othongathi. From what I've heard and believe, those Jojo tanks that were burnt were actually broken. They were cracked. There was water seeping through, and the residents were not able to actually collect water from those Jojo tanks. Another concern of theirs was that even though the Jojo tanks were stationed in different areas in the community, sometimes they stayed empty for days on end waiting for a tanker to come. The frustrations, I think, got really, really, really high when a toddler drowned in a bucket of water. So the residents are, how can I say this, like really losing patience now. It's been such a long time. I know other areas, and we've been told this, like La Mercy and Westbrook, they get water for about 4 hours a day. And I think that in the interim and until everything is sorted out, if water could be made available to us, even for that 4 hours or even less, we'd be grateful for it, because then we could actually collect water from our own taps. We won't need a vehicle. We won't need to walk long distances. Our people will not have to stand on the road waiting for a tanker to come. And I mean, I've seen them. The tankers start from as early as 6 o'clock and they are here till as late as about 11 o'clock at night. And we are so desperate for the water that we stand outside our gates waiting for that tanker to come. And it's so disappointing when the tanker comes through. People are limited to water, and we do understand that the tankers are limited as well. But residents have been restricted from filling 5-liter bottles, and I don't think they're filling the 5-liter bottles out of choice. It's out of necessity because they don't have the funds to actually have larger containers and buckets and things like that. And private residents who have Jojo tanks have been helping neighbors here in the Sandfields community, but it's still not enough. There's many people here. Right. There's many homes.
Thank you so much.
That
don't have access to water. Unfortunately, we have run out of time, Chantal. Thank you so much for giving us that update in terms of the experiences that you as the residents of Othongathi in Sandsville are experiencing with regards to the shortages of water. Now, in a moment, I'll be joined by Commission for Gender Equality. They are calling for accountability in fighting GBV. Stay with us.